Welcome back, everyone, to another trick tip. Lately, Heelflips and I have had a rather complicated relationship. We are currently separated. We're trying to make things work, but again, it's a very complicated relationship. I have custody of varial Heelflips for full time, and the Heelflips have custody of backside 180 Heelflips full time, and we are trading off custody on laser flips every week. So 1 week I'll have them, 1 week Heelflips will have them. But, you know, we're making it work. So I figured it'd be a good time to do a trick tip on it. That way I can try like 300 Heelflips in hopes that they will eventually come back. Now, Heelflips is one of those tricks that's it's going to come and go as it pleases. Again, it's kind of a complicated relationship. I promise you've already tried doing this trick, and the first thing it did is it went straight up and tried going up your butt. I bet you that has happened to so many people. It happened to me. I almost didn't want to try doing it, but I kind of want to figure it out, figure out the puzzle of this trick. But really, you gotta have a good solid ollie. Like, pop it good, pop it high, and then just level it out. Basically, leveling the board out while doing an ollie is kind of like at that sweet spot when you should try heel flipping. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. Start with foot placement. You're gonna put your feet like this. Your front foot, I would say put the arch of your foot directly in the center of the board, because that way it's going to kind of give you a feel on how you are going to move it around yourself. When I first started doing this, I put half my foot hanging off the board, and then as I kind of had to relearn them, I feel most comfortable with my foot directly in the center like this. But it's probably going to be different for you. I would say start with this, and then if you're not getting enough flick, move it further off the board. If you're getting too much flick, or if you want to experiment a little bit, you can try putting it more on the board, almost like an ollie. I've seen people do heel flips like this before. In fact, I do my switch and ollie heel flips like this. I don't know why, it just works better, but I think it also helps in throwing it in front of you. But that's also what the back foot does. I think it is very, 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 very important to have your back foot like this. In fact, I could not do heel flips consistently. I would try 100 and land one until I put my back foot like this, because when you put your foot right here and put a lot of emphasis on the toes popping the board, it helps push it in front of you, because this board's going to go behind you. You're going to land a lot with just your heels on the board. If you put your back foot like this, just your toes on in that little pocket there, it's going to work for you. Before you even really feel this trick out and try to do some half-committed attempts, just try doing a late heel flip. I promise you, it's going to make your life so much easier. I remember I would just try to flick my heel out as fast as possible. Don't want to do that. Try doing a late heel flip, because especially if you're a beginner, you're not really going to know that perfect time of when to flip the board. And as I said earlier, it's going to be when the ollie is leveled out. So that way, when you flick your heel out, it's not going to go right up into your butt. That's basically what happens when you get popsicled by your board while doing heel flips. It's because you tried to flick it out too early, or your heel just didn't make contact with the board. And what you want to do for the flick, I would say the foot movement on your front foot is key here. You're going to want to slide it straight up and then straight out, completely perpendicular to the board. You want to form an L with your front foot. And when you push it forward, directly in front of you, you do want to kick it down just a little bit. Don't need a whole lot. But you'll feel it when you do it right, and you will know. Straight up for the ollie, and then straight perpendicular to get the flick. And then if you kind of need help getting in front of you some more, your back foot can also push it forward as you're flicking it out. I remember that's the feeling that really made me like this trick, is that both feet kind of move at the exact same time straight in front of you. I think that's the secret behind the trick. You can even see when I do my heel flip straight onto the camera, my back foot will actually come out a little bit with the flick. So key problems, you're going to land primo on this trick a lot. In fact, any heel flip variation, you're going to land primo a lot. It's a little bit harder to get that oomph to flip it all the way around. You just gotta be prepared to kind of fall backwards. And another problem you might run into is, again, the board going straight up. Basically what you're doing is, I think, really a commitment issue. You're kind of trying to flick your foot out as fast as you can, and you're missing the board, and it wants to go straight up just because physics does what physics does. So really you can counter that with just making sure you try doing a late heel flip. And that is one of the key tips I don't think I can stress enough, is try a late heel flip, and I promise you, especially if you're brand new to this, like I said, it will probably flip at just the right time. So key points to this trick. Your back foot is very important to have just your toes on the board because it's going to help push it in front of you. Your front foot, you got to experiment with. Again, start with putting it directly in the center. Your heel is going to be hanging off a little bit. Your toes will be hanging off a little bit more than your heel, but it also depends on your shoe size, board size. But again, the arch of your foot right down the middle. That's what you want to go for. And then experiment with what you feel like you need to. You need to flip it more, hang your foot off more. If it's flipping too much, which I don't know how you're going to do that, move it towards you a little bit, more like an ollie. If you're really having trouble getting it in front of you, move it more like an ollie, and your entire foot will kind of push it in front of you as you're flicking. Again, that's how I do my switch heel flips. Ollie first, and then heel flip. Try a late heel flip. As I said, can't stress that enough. Ollie, late heel flip, and you should flick it out at just the right time. Make sure you jump in the air with this one. That was my biggest problem for a long time. That and 360 flips, I tend to forget to actually jump with the board. Just jump off that back foot and let the board do what it needs to do underneath you. And to catch it, you just got to feel it out with your body. But at this point, your legs and feet should kind of know what to do to land back on it. Keep your upper body as straight as you can. You don't want to lean forward too much because, again, it's going to go behind you. And as you do flick your heel out, you make the L motion with your front foot. And then as your front foot goes straight in front of you, let your back foot go straight in front of you as well. Again, this will help keep it under you. If you're really having trouble getting the full rotation, you can really try doing double heel flips. It's kind of a little cheat code hack. I'll cover that in my next video. A bunch of like cheat codes for skateboarding. But you want to try the next harder trick, and that might actually help you land the trick you're working on. Yeah, when you catch it, it's gonna feel kind of high. It's one of those ones, if you do it just right, it'll kind of sink right up to your feet, might shock you a little bit. And that's basically it. Keep your body weight centered. I was gonna say lean with the flick, but it's not really a trick where you have to lean any particular direction. Quick recap, set your feet up as I showed you, do an ollie, and then do the heel flip. Try a late heel flip. Make the L motion with your front foot. When your front foot goes straight out, your back foot goes with it at the same time in the same direction. Helps you keep the board in front of you. Make sure you jump with the board. Pull your feet up to catch it. And then your feet should just kind of reset themselves. But that's basically it. Go learn your heel flips. Stun all your friends. It's a pretty cool feeling being able to flip the board pretty consistently, kick flips and heel flips. But leave a comment if you have any questions, if you're having any issues, let me know. I'll do what I can to help you. Also, let me know if you have any tricks you need help with. And again, I'm not the best skater in the world, but I will do whatever I can to help you learn something. And maybe we can even learn something together, which would be kind of cool. But leave a like if this helped you. Subscribe if you want more trick tips like this. Go have fun, go skate, and I will see you guys next Wednesday.